For this episode, we consider a 70-year-old female who is hemodynamically stable and presents with syncopal episodes. This is her EKG. Let's be systematic in our approach and begin with the rate. Let's use the pointy R waves as our marks for measuring the interval between complexes. It's just a bit beyond or slower than 3 big boxes. So we have a rate just under 100. This is derived from dividing 300 by 3 big boxes. The rate looks to be regular. The R to R interval is consistent throughout the EKG. Let's consider the P waves. Well, they should be mostly upright and symmetrical. P waves should be less than 2.5 millimeters high and less than 0.12 seconds long, or 3 little boxes in both directions. The P waves in this tracing appear to be that, and therefore we do not see any evidence of atrial enlargement either left or right. There should be a P wave for every QRS and a QRS for every P. These look consistent with those parameters, so there's no second or third degree AV block. PR intervals? Well, measured from the beginning of the P wave to the beginning of the QRS complex, we should measure no greater than 0.2 seconds or 1 big box. The interval here does not look prolonged, so there's no evidence of a first-degree block. And the interval is not so short as to suggest WPW or LGL. QT intervals should be less than 1/2 the R to R interval. The QT here is long. We could measure any QT interval since all intervals are the same throughout any given 12-lead EKG. Things are easily seen in this EKG in lead 2. So let's move our calipers there. Measure the R to R interval, then see if the QT is more than half that interval, and lo and behold, it is more than 1/2 the R to R interval. The QRS complex? Well, there are many things we consider about the QRS. Let's start with the width first. The width should be less than 0.12 seconds, or less than 3 little boxes wide. The width here is narrow, so there's no evidence of a bundle branch block or aberrant conduction. We should consider the height of the QRS for hypertrophy. These are small enough to rule out left ventricular hypertrophy. We should consider the transition from a mostly down to a mostly up QRS complex in the precordial leads. Usually it occurs between V3 and V4. In this EKG, it is delayed since it is between V5 and V6. So there's nothing to suggest right ventricular hypertrophy. How about the axis deviation? Is it normal, left, right? This looks like left axis deviation since the net QRS deflection in lead 2 is more negative than positive, suggestive of a left anterior hemiblock. How about Q waves? There's a small Q wave in AVL and a large Q in V2. The ST segment in the septal anterior lateral leads is elevated and coved or frowning looking. This is most markedly seen in V2 and V3. Additionally, we see flipped T waves in many leads. All of this is suggestive of a myocardial infarction. Well, that wraps up another episode. I hope it was helpful to you. Let us know what you think. Do you see something we have missed or disagree with any of our interpretations? If the interpretation you found here is partly or completely foreign to you, consider taking our DVD or online lessons. They are inexpensive and will all be available in April. Thank you for watching. I am Robert Delicat. See you next time.